And we're live. This is the last live stream on Dylan Talks Tone in the year 2020. And it is going to be fun. So, here's what I thought we would do this week. Since it's the last one, we're gonna have some fun, and we're just gonna hang out and we're gonna chat. And I want to get some input from you, so get busy in the comments. Leslie's here with us this week, and so she's gonna be looking at the comments, and we're gonna be talking together. Check it out! I got the new Bert's Guitar Studio shirt, just came in today. It's available on Dylan Talks Tone. You can go order it. For those of you that don't know the story to this, this guitar shop is what started the entire thing for me when I was a kid. My dad's name is Bert, and it is his. This was his music store when we were little kids, and so. He had a recording studio, and obviously did guitar repairs and stuff. So I've been around all this stuff since I was a tiny little kid. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about our year, Dylan Talks Tone 2020. We're going to tell you a little bit about Dylan Talks Tone for 2021. We're going to get some input from you. We're going to talk about the coolest videos of 2020. And we also... I don't know. We just want to hang out because I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody that watches this channel. I was looking through my analytics again. I do this pretty regularly. I'm a bit of an analytics junkie.
A lot.
And something I noticed is really cool. We, about 2 weeks ago, surpassed 5 million views on this channel, which is kind of crazy given that we have just shy of 50,000 subscribers. You would think that would be a lot lower, the view count. So a lot of people watch the videos even though they don't subscribe, which is really cool. So thank you, even if you haven't subscribed, although I don't know why you wouldn't, so he can hit the button down there. But here's the weird, crazy thing about that. Speaking of 2020, 2.4 million of those views, which is literally half of all views ever on our channel, happened this year. So it got me thinking, that and 19.9, so just about 20,000 of the 50,000 subscribers that we do have are from this year. So it got me thinking. I wanted to look at some of the hottest videos, some of the coolest videos that we made this year, and also I want to talk to you about other videos on other channels on YouTube. So go ahead and start getting in the comments, in the chat here. First of all, tell me what your favorite video on our channel this year was. And if you're new to the channel, you've only watched for a couple weeks, I'm sure you've stayed up late and binge watched a bunch of them. So the videos don't have to be from this year. I'm just saying your favorite video that you saw on our channel this year, first of all. Second of all, I would also like to see from other channels. I don't care if they have to do with guitar stuff at all. I'm curious what you're into, whether it's photography, I don't know, planning for the world to end, like burying bullets in your backyard. Like, I don't know. There's videos for everything. So get in the comments and let me know what things you're into. And Leslie will help us keep up with all that because I think it's pretty cool. So here's what I was thinking we were going to do first is I wanted to go through our top 5 most viewed videos this year on our channel. So in the here, hang on. In the number 5 position, let me get this right, is and I'll share this with you. How to modify, is it worth it to modify a Squier Stratocaster? This video series that we did, and we did a bunch of these, was really, really fun because taking a cheap guitar, that guitar in that video I think was under $200, and making it into a really, really cool guitar. And I'll tell you the story about that guitar. I actually bought that guitar for a video, and then a girl that I know, I think she was probably 19 or 20 at the time, was like, I want to learn to play guitar. Can I buy that guitar from you? And she actually ended up buying it and bought a little PV solid state amp. And I know to this day she is still playing that guitar, learning songs, learning, you know, whatever song. She didn't know any guitar at all whatsoever. And so I just think it's really cool because A, it's inspiring new people to play. This kind of content does. And I really feel like we have proven over and over again on this channel that it doesn't matter what you play. And as we talk about our plans for 2020, we're going to get into that a little bit more. A $200 guitar with some mods, that thing was awesome. Super, super fun. So that was number 5.
I'm going to have to interrupt you for a super chat.
Oh, sweet.
Scar My Guitar.
Yeah, thanks, Scar My Guitar, for your super chat. I do appreciate it very much.
Said, I need some killer bass pickups to beat Dan from Guns and Guitars in our upcoming build-off.
Shoot me a message and go to Dylan Talks Tone. Go on the bottom of the page where it says contact. Hit that contact form. Shoot me a message and tell me what you need. I would love for you to beat Dan. I would love for there to be a contest where everybody in it used my pickups and had to fight. That would be awesome. I wonder how that could work. That's an interesting... Why couldn't we? So, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. Why couldn't we have a build-off? Why couldn't we have a Dylan Talks Tone build-off? Why couldn't we, and I'm spitballing here, so just get in the comments and not just in the feed here, but in the comments below this video, because this feed's kind of hard to follow after the video's over, but in the underneath the video, get in the comments and what sort of build off...
I think give an option while we're live, while we're premiering or live.
Oh, do they? What sort of build off thing could we do? Maybe set a price that you can't spend, and I know obviously this would all be honors, right? That you can't spend over X amount of dollars, and then maybe submit an Instagram or Twitter video or something when it's done. I don't know. That would be kind of fun, right? That'd be super fun. This whole cheap guitar building thing, and I'm honestly, Dan does it better than we do. I just feel like it's really cool and really inspiring because I think that's where most people are. I don't think most people are playing, you know, $5,000 PRSs or whatever. I think they're playing whatever they can get their hands on and trying to figure out how to make it better and make it play. If I'm mistaken in that, get in the comments and tell me. But I feel like that's a lot of what our audience is looking for. So as we get into what we want to do in 2020 and what I need your help with in 2021, then please let us know. We'll get further into that. Let's do one more video. So this is going to be video number 4 from last year that I was really, really excited about doing. And it is what's different about lace sensor pickups. And you remember when we cut this lace sensor apart and saw what was inside? I actually didn't know. I'd actually never done this before, which was really kind of fun to learn myself. And we'll talk about that more in a minute too. I really learned a lot with that video, and really it helped me to understand a little bit why they sound the way they sound, and they are completely different than a normal one.
Super chat.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Who super chatted us this time?
Doc said,
Oh, thanks, Doc.
I really like the series of videos comparing one type of pickup versus another, strap versus telly, etc., and the blind comparison videos that remove bias. Genius.
Oh, man, I really appreciate you saying that, Doc, and I really appreciate the super chat as well. You know, as we talk about what our content's going to be next year, your comment's probably going to come up again because it's really, they are the most fun to make. Because I'm going to show you what was your favorite, all of your favorite videos on our channel, but I'm going to show you a couple that were my favorite too. And they fall right in line with what you're saying. Number 3 on our list was, when do we change our pots? 5 reasons to change the pots in the guitar. And we talked about the construction of pots and how they work and all that kind of stuff. With diagrams, I'm trying to use diagrams more. I'm trying to use some other visual aids a little bit more so that we don't have such boring, like me just sitting here talking. So we'll get into that actually as well. Number 2 on our list, this was a pretty cool video. When I say cool, I mean it was freezing outside when I made it. I'll tell you the funny thing about this video was filtered trons versus humbuckers. What is the difference? 52,000 views on this video, and we actually just made it this year. The funny thing about this video is that it is, in the comments, the majority of people in the comments wanted to know why I kept shooting outside even when it was cold and why I was wearing a jacket. And there was a bunch of people that were like, does your wife not let you in the house? And I was like, no, that has nothing to do with it. So for those of you that are not familiar and you see our house and you're new to the channel, we actually live full-time in an RV. So we have a 38-foot motorhome, and this is where I make all the pickups. So when I actually had a guy, I think he was trying to be mean to me in a comment last week. It was like, why do you continue to like promote your shirts and your cups and stuff? Don't you make enough pickups living in a van or something like that? And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't live in a van. I don't know what that means. Unless he's from England, because like RVs are called vans in England. So caravans, so maybe. But we make tons of pickups. We ship pickups every day, almost every day of the week. We're shipping pickups. Loaded pick card today. A bunch of, we sent out 6 or 7 orders yesterday. We ship a lot of pickups. We make them all here. We've got a video this year actually that talked about that, like what our process is and how we store the stuff and how we ship it and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun. So, but we do. That's what we do. But we live in a motorhome. When I made this video, we actually hadn't bought the motorhome yet because it's not in the driveway. We were staying with her parents while we were shopping for a motorhome. And so this is, that's our 2020. Has been pretty insane because we took up this entire brand new lifestyle this year. And it's been a challenge, but it's been super fun, and we've really enjoyed it. Now this one's an interesting one to me. This is our number 1 video for the year. This video was 2 years old.
Do you mean to share it?
I will.
Oh.
Yeah, this video is 2 years old, but this is how to polish your frets the right way. This really surprises me that this video is so popular. Where we talk about the lizard spit polishing, fret polishing system. 109,238 views, and this video is only 2 years old. This is actually number 2 all time of our videos. This is number 2 all time.
Super chat.
Oh, really?
Love the channel. Best of luck for 2021.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. I just clicked over to see who it was. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate the super chat very much. So I was sharing that video because that's actually number 2 all time. Something very interesting on our channel is that our #1 video of all time, I can actually have this ready, and I want to share this with you for a couple of reasons, and we're going to get into some other things here in a minute. But one of the reasons I wanted to share this with you, and of course the computer is going slowly, okay, is for those of you that are trying to create your own content, because I know that there's a lot of you that are. You're trying to create your own content. You feel like you might be beating your head against the wall, maybe. I have felt this way many times. I want to share this video with you right here. This is episode 10. This is in our old house. This is with, look at that terrible graphic. This is with a little action camera that only was 1080p. Look at that, the old magic whiteboard. Back when I was playing Fuchs amps and drawing pictures. Episode 10. I'd been doing my YouTube channel for approximately 2.5 weeks. And this video right here to this day is #6 all time. Even now, we have 700, almost 700 videos on the channel. And the 10th video I ever made is constantly either top 5 or top 6, never out of the top 10, no matter what other content we release. The reason I'm bringing this up to you is because, and I think the video sucks, to tell you the truth. It's 16 minutes long or something, and it's kind of terrible. It's not as well prepared or produced as any of the stuff that we do these days. Just, to me, it's not that great. But I am grateful for it because even though it was old and it wasn't as good, I will also tell you that that video is the #1 video that refers the most people to my website to buy our pickups, which is sort of weird. So I'm very grateful for that video. The reason I'm telling you all this is no matter how not awesome you feel like your videos are, or your content is, or your guitar playing in your Instagram videos or whatever, do it anyway. Because it's gonna resonate with somebody, right? Like somebody's gonna like it. And it might not be today. That video's 5 years old and it's still going. So don't think that nobody's gonna like what you do, even if nobody watches it the day you upload it. I've uploaded many videos where I was like, this thing sucks, and only like 100 people watched it, and I went to a lot of trouble and I don't know why. And then 2 years later, I'm like, oh, it's got 70,000 views or whatever, or even 20,000 views or however many, it doesn't matter. People were finding value in that video. So make sure that you, and I'm telling you this to tell myself this too, because Leslie's always on me to stay positive even on the cloudy days. And that is the thing. All this content is good. It's all good for someone. There's going to be somebody who identifies with what you do. Even if you think, well, somebody's already made that video. I've already seen that video on somebody else's channel. You know what I mean? Make it anyway, because you didn't make it, and maybe they don't identify with this other person. Like, make your own.
I love that, and identifying with somebody. So Dennis said a little bit ago, he said, the first video I saw of Dylan, he was sitting outside in the backyard one morning drinking coffee and working on a guitar, and that's when I knew I liked this guy. So it's those little relatable things, of course, that...
Yeah. And I experiment a lot with that. The YouTube guru people will tell you, be super consistent, have everything look exactly the same all the time. And I'm like, what if it's not good? Like, what if it doesn't... What if you have it set up and you do this, you have this amazing setup, because we've done it so many times, right? Like over the last 5 years, I've set up all these various sets and had all the lighting and all the stuff. And one thing I realized in 2020 is this. I just pick up a camera and I start talking about guitar stuff, and it doesn't matter where I'm at because we've been all over the country while we do it. You know, like it's just always been an awesome thing. I also want to really quick say, Hi to Gary, and who else do we got here? That's members. Dastardly Dave is here. There's a few people that are actually have joined the YouTube member thing, and I do appreciate that. For those of you that are members, even if you're watching this in replay, I made a post today, members only post, on our YouTube timeline, trying to pick a time when we can have our monthly YouTube members only live stream. So if you are one of those, or if you want to be one of those and be part of that, let me know, and then go, join or whatever, and then go over to that post and get your input so we can schedule that, so we can all hang out on that members only thing, because that's something that I've been trying to do.
So a couple people replied to the question about their favorite videos. Fred says his was the underwater acoustic guitar video. That made the little intro reel, right? So
it
people,
did.
Yeah. BC Rich said, I love the pickups nailed to the fence test from a few years ago.
That's a favorite. That is a favorite. The reason I'm asking you about your favorite videos is because if we're being 100% honest with each other, and we're all friends here, a conversation that has been coming up a lot for me lately, Leslie knows, she's probably tired of hearing me say it. There are certain types of this content that I'm really bored with making. I'm just going to say it. Because there's only so many ways that you can talk about a 500K pot. There's only so many ways you can talk about setting a truss rod. Like, it's a weird thing. But that doesn't mean that there's no content to make. It just means my brain is going to, how can I be more creative? How can I go into 2021, show you guys stuff you haven't seen before, show you stuff that you want to see, and just get better at this whole thing. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, but I want to get better, you know what I mean? So let me show you 2 examples of my favorite videos, and I'll tell you why they're my favorite, and then maybe you can give me some ideas based on what I'm telling you, to give me some ideas. So first of all, this has nothing to do with anything, so I don't actually really know why I made the list, but this was super fun. And we all know what this is. This was the belt sander race at Texas Toast Guitars in July, and we made a video, talking about the belt sander race. It had nothing to do with tone. It had nothing to do with guitar stuff. It was just really fun to make. So that was really fun. That was just fun to make. For those of you that don't know, I'm a photographer and a videographer. I like making videos. I like the shooting. I like the editing. I like being creative with it. The most popular videos we have are these really boring me sitting in a chair talking to you, which is okay because obviously the information is good and you feel like you need the information, so you watch the video. That's awesome. But it's really hard for me to make those because it's not as fun. I'll give you another guitar-related one that I had a blast making. And you all will remember this because this one got a lot of hate too. Remember this? When we took a perfectly good Fishman Fluence Stratocaster pickup and we cut it in half with a Dremel. By the way, it stunk up the garage for like 2 days. That was my mother-in-law's garage. Stunk up the garage for like 2 days. But this kind of video is really fun to me because we're looking at something in a way that we've never looked at it before. The other fun videos that we've made, especially lately, that Kolos guitar thing where I actually stood on it on the train tracks, and then it was Leslie's idea to do the slow motion with the neck and watch it wiggle. Those kind of things, trying to figure out imaginative and cool ways to get these concepts across without just being the same old boring thing that we've always seen. The last video that I made also, where we did my mind just went completely blank. Oh, yeah, the one we made this week, where we used the RC car style antenna and the keyless entry style antenna to talk about antenna technology and how it relates to the guitar. Trying to visualize that stuff in different ways, a little bit more production value, something that's a little bit more exciting to watch than just a person sitting there talking, is a lot more fun for me. And so I'm trying to figure out ideas, that will lend themselves more to that, where we can illustrate more with more imagination. I'm excited about it.
And I love, so, we have some people that are really regular and really interact with us, and it just shows, that's the people that probably resonate with you the most. So it's even interesting to see some of the feedback while we're live in the comments, just talking about how much they've learned, and that they like watching the old videos and see you bust the myths. And then, so specific videos that they're saying they like. The one where you did, BC Rich said he also liked another short, fun, interesting clip Dylan did was the signal sent through the 800 feet of cable to measure the impact that cable length has on tone. That was really interesting to hear that. Dennis said he's learned a lot from you. Many thanks, especially busting the old myths. Phil says your video with guns and guitars was funny and informative and creative. Ben, fun. I know it's hard with COVID, but I love the collabs you did this year and would love to see more. Sean, the video where you relic a guitar by dragging it behind your vehicle was fun. Alan Walker says, I like the one where Dylan got his new acoustic. His love for it was awesome to see. Epitome, I like seeing Dylan kick the Colos neck into a boomerang. Art Gomez says, Odessa Pickups episode is one of my favorites.
Oh, that was fun. So I think what I'm hearing here
Sassy is Cat driving over the glary acoustic was cathartic. I love that one. Anyway, so yeah. So what?
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
Sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like to me like you want to see a lot of more videos with not
Which
me.
Which is awesome, but well, no.
With other people. I'm teasing.
Which is a goal, and that was the goal for 2020, and it was, we did get a few good things done, but it was hard, and it's still the goal.
I have a goal, personally, in 2021 to do more collaborations than we did in 2020. 2020 was more than we've ever done. One of my favorite videos we've ever made, and it actually didn't get that many views, is the String Joy Factory Tour. That video was so fun to make, and I learned so much. And one of the things that, and I guess, first of all, just collaborating with other people, getting outside of your own head, and literally like learning from other people, to me is so much fun. And that String Joy thing was such a blast. I want to do that more. I actually have a tentative arrangement to do another guitar factory. A tentative arrangement to do a small custom amp builder, a pedal builder, and some other stuff coming up. But like you said, with COVID, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So one of the other things that I'm trying to do is actually set up some Zoom calls where we do, I don't know if we want to do like a rig rundown kind of thing, but that's a thing that I'm kind of thinking of doing. Jess from Sons of Texas, I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's like, yeah, man, let's do something. And I know a bunch of guitar players from, even national touring bands down to whoever. The other fun video that was really fun to make was the Boss Next Tone video with Michael. So he's a local guitar player to me, and he's really, really, really good. He plays... Well, he told me he hadn't played a gig since March. This is a guy that would play like 4 gigs a week. So he hadn't been playing much. But he had a great vintage amp collection. He was a great guy and a good authority to do that video with.
Is a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Still alive.
Yeah, is a great guy. To do that with. And I learned a lot from him too. So this is one of the things. This is one of the things I want to do in 2020. First of all, I know a lot of stuff about guitars, but I've had to learn that stuff as I go. A lot of it I knew, but a lot of it I learned. And in the end, I'm just a guy with a camera and a YouTube channel. Like, I'm not an expert. I just like to learn. And so when I do, there's two goals. When we do these videos, there's two goals that I have. One is I want to make them interesting to watch, because I think there's a lot of YouTube channels that try to do it, but they're very boring to watch. So I try to make them interesting to watch. Number two, and this gets a little technical sometimes, but one of the things I really try to do is make sure that we are not spreading misinformation. So sometimes I'm wrong. I actually misspoke in this video that I just did on Monday. Photons, not electrons. I'm going to do a correction in next week's video. I don't mind being wrong, and somebody in the comments pointed it out and was like, hey, you said this wrong, and I was like, oh, I did say it wrong. So I'm going to correct that. But I want 100% all the time to spend time to make sure that we don't spread misinformation. And it is a very difficult thing to make very technical videos that get really deep into stuff, that are fun to watch for people that are not very experienced, because a very new guitar player may not care about it, or they may not understand it fully. So you got to make it easy enough for them. But the people that are really nerds and really get into this stuff, you got to make it interesting for them too. So it's a super big challenge. The other thing that is tough when we do this is that when we talk about stuff like RFI and EMI, you have to be 100% right. Otherwise, people get in the comments and they just rip you apart. And that's really tough to exist like that. So one of the things I want to do in 2021 is I want to move from being super technical with that stuff. I want to move into content that we're learning together, that we are very clearly, I know nothing about this. I want to show this to you, and we're going to learn it together. I want you to know that I don't know. I want you to know that I'm not an expert in whatever we're about to talk about. And then we're going to learn this thing together, and I'm going to take you through that journey with me. This whole synthetic materials thing has been an excellent example of that. That's why I was so excited to get that guitar from McPherson. Not only is it a dream guitar for me, but it is also something I knew nothing about. Not very many people know anything about it. It's a carbon fiber acoustic guitar. Like, the volume of people that know anything about the engineering that goes into that is very low. And I knew nothing about it, except for I knew that it was cool, and I knew I wanted to try it. So that's why that content is fun for me, because I'm learning it as I'm sharing it with you, and I want you to know that I don't know it. So I want to breach subjects that guitar channels don't normally breach. I want to get into areas that either people are afraid to get into, or maybe nobody knows anything about. Maybe it's something completely new. Maybe it is a reapplication of technology to music. These are the things that I want to try to do, because I feel like they're way more engaging than, like, okay, so here's this tiny little part, and it's made of this thing from the 1960s, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm so bored with that. It's valuable. We have to have it, and we have to know it for sure. But it's just something that I want to morph into that. And I want to also morph into content that honestly is more fun to watch and is more fun for me to make. So bear with me as I experiment. Because, and here's the other thing too, share the content that you see on our channel, even if you don't like it. Because I think one of the things that has happened over the last 5 years is our audience, which I love, you're all here every week watching this stuff. And I feel like you're all my friends, and actually some of you have become my friends. Like, I've met you in person, it's been amazing. But as we try to grow the audience and reach more people, I want to reach younger people. In principle, I feel it's very important to reach a younger audience so that we can pass on playing guitar to the next generation. But what that's going to take is a change in perspective on our part as old guys, because we do things a certain way. We, we like a certain amp, we like a certain string. I've been playing this particular pick. I thought that was my old car. I've been using a certain pick. I've been using a certain set of strings. I've been using, whatever for this many years, and that's it. And when the kid asks me what he should do, I'm going to tell him he needs to play a Strat, and he needs to use this cable, and he needs to... And kids don't honestly take very well to that, number one. And that's not how they learn. Number two, this is a little weird and personal, but our kids are grown, okay? Our daughter's 20 years old. She was born in a time where when she was 7, 8 years old, just starting to be able to understand like more technology stuff, touch screens were a thing. So a 20-year-old person does not know a world without an iPhone. They do not know a world without an iPad. They do not know a world without digital music formats. They do not know a world without mixing music on a laptop. For us, who are a little older than that, that sounds super foreign to us. But for us to be able to take what we know and pass it on to the next generation, we are going to have to let go of tube amps are the only thing and blah, 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 vintage Telecaster. As much as that stuff is super fun and I love it, and I would love to have an old Esquire, and I'd love to have an old 59 Les Paul Jr., and I'd love to have a room full of tube amps. I used to have a room full of tube amps. I think the world, in order to continue all of this into the future, needs a little bit different perspective, and I hope to, over the next couple years, be able to share that. Here's the thing I'm going to ask of you as a viewer who has been with me for the last 5 years of us doing this, over 700 videos, and seeing the content that we've made to this point. As we do that, and we start to invite more people to be part of this family who are not like us, that you continue to watch this content, that you continue to find value in it, because it's still going to be valuable, but it's going to take a little bit of thinking outside the box and learning stuff that you might not know, and stuff that you may think is a bit unnecessary. An example would be digital modeling, okay? People think that it's unnecessary. People think that I don't need it because I have a tube amp, I'm always going to play tube amps, blah, blah, blah. It is necessary, though, because the world is changing, and what if they stop making tubes? We're going to have something. And people will say, well, they'll never stop making tubes. I don't know about that. What if you live in a country where the environmental situation changes and your power consumption on your appliances has to come down? Then all of a sudden, a 40-watt tube amp that consumes 1,500 watts to run doesn't work. So what I'm saying is, as we morph into the future, come on with us, man. I'm inviting you to do that, but I'm asking you also. It's more of a, I'm inviting you to do it, but I'm also asking you to be a part of it, because I don't want to lose those of you that may not see this the same way I do, as we start presenting more of this content. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm getting into some of these digital interface things. I bought that $69 digital interface. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about it. Well, I will talk about it probably in next week's live video. I'm probably gonna return it. It's really, really cumbersome and kind of difficult to use. So that being said, not my channel. What else on the internet have you seen in 2020 that you found value in. I don't care if it has nothing to do with guitar stuff.
Can we catch up on some of the videos they like that were
Yes,
yours?
let's do it.
Deja Voodoo said they said seeing your minimalist. I guess we do have minimal things. We're not really minimalist, just to clarify. Pick up making, winding, and wax potting all done out of a motorhome. It's way cool.
It is. It's fun.
Fred says he really liked the Music and Mascara drone footage of the overhead train. So different channel, but
that was
he
our
really,
other channel.
Yeah, that was really good. My favorite, Driddle says my favorite was getting to watch Dylan finish the Les Ply.
Oh man!
And then there are a lot of people that really enjoyed and then tried String Joy after that video. There's quite a few people saying that they really enjoyed the String Joy video.
Well, I'm gonna text Scott after this
yeah.
and tell him.
And
hey.
then Homer's Reluctant Odyssey said he made it here because of Texas Toast. So again, another push for collaboration. We've met a lot of really cool people by collaborating with the other channels that have become some of our regular viewers.
And what's really fun too is I am a Texas Toast viewer, so I go and watch their videos, and I see all of my friends from ours. You know what I mean?
Another chance to hang out.
Yeah, in their videos, it's kind of fun. I kind of feel bad because sometimes I go over there and I like take over their chat, but it's so fun because I love that. And one of the things that's so fun about that.
I'm not finished.
Go ahead.
Doug Santinello said Matt's waiting on you to decide what to do with the Les Ply, by the way.
Oh. Talk to him about that.
Phil says, your crisscross across the states and the different people you met was very cool. I learned a ton about guitars while I was holed up. So that's a neat perspective and that was, we tried to do a lot of sharing this year because we knew maybe that was the only chance people had to get out. It didn't exactly go as we planned, and we've kind of pulled back on some of that content, but it is good to know that people were enjoying that for sure. Homer said that Next Tone sounded so good. Sassy Cat had an idea of building a 3D printed guitar. We've talked about this many times.
So here's what I need. And I'm actually going to start hitting you up for this more. If we're all friends here and we're hanging out and trying to build this community together, I'm going to literally hit you up. Here's what I need. I need somebody with a 3D printer that can do it. And somebody that I would be willing. They don't have to be in guitar. They could be outside of the business. That is something on top of my list that I want to do. I just have not found the right person to collaborate with to do it. So if you have an idea about that, please let me know. And if you have ideas for collaborations, here's the other thing you can do for me. And I hate to harp on this because I don't want to sound ungrateful, but there is a reality to it. One is that because we only have 50,000 subscribers, which isn't very many in YouTube land, a lot of times when I ask a company or I ask a person about a collaboration, they don't want to do it because I'm not big enough, technically. However, if you tell them on Twitter, for example, that you want me to collaborate, and then I ask, then it's different. So if you have ideas for me that you want to collaborate with, that you would like me to try, hey, I'd like you to try this product, I'd like you to review this product, I'd like you to collaborate with this company, whatever, reach out to them first. Tell them on Twitter, tell them on Instagram that this is something that you would like to see. And then that kind of paves the way a little bit, because if you as the viewer are interested in seeing it, they will see value in that. And so,
that is actually how we first met up with Texas Toast,
it
right?
is.
It was viewers that were like, hey, are you checking out what they're doing?
Yeah.
And they kind of made those connections.
It was Mike Ivey. It was a viewer and a customer of mine. And he's like, hey, have you ever seen what they're doing? In fact, he's the one, I'm going to give a shout out to Mike Ivey. He's a good customer of mine, and he's actually local to us. I met up with him one day to deliver him some pickups, and he said, have you ever seen Texas Toast class? Their once a month class. And I said, no, I've never seen it. So I went to their website. He said, you should do that. You should do that. And so that is what inspired the whole Patreon at Dylan Talks Tone once a month class that is so fun. And it's also valuable because we give the replays out to another tier on Patreon. It's awesome. That was his idea. And that was a viewer's idea that led to a collaboration that led to many of you even being here in the first place. So the power of that is, I mean, that's a great illustration.
And yeah, and just knowing what people are interested in. When you know, if you resonate with one person and then you're like, oh, but I really love this guy too, like, chances are that those people will probably like each other as well. So it is a great way. It's the same way you make friends in real life. You know, hey, let me introduce you to my friend so-and-so. You know, the internet works a lot like that as well. And we've met many people on the internet that we then meet in real life, and they already feel like friends. So it's just a way to build those relationships.
No, it's awesome.
And Odessa, somebody else said Odessa, and that's exactly what happened with how we met up with them. Is a friend on the internet that reached out in a friendly way while we were traveling, and then we got to meet and do some collaboration there and realize what he was passionate about, so that we can even refer customers to him if we need to, because he fits a little niche that we don't do. So
yeah, actually, if you ever need a rewind, I'll just tell you, if you ever need a rewind on a pickup, call him, Odessa Pickups. You can look him up on Facebook, because I don't do rewinds anymore because we move so much that it's hard for people to send me stuff. So I don't do them anymore. So yeah, I mean, this is great. This is the exact type of show I wanted to do tonight.
Yeah.
Was to just hang out with everybody, and talk about all this. So let me tell you a couple of things that I would like to do next year. I want to do some plant tours. I want to actually go to a guitar factory and shoot some plant tours. But I want to do them kind of my way. Still the same kind of technical feel. Get behind all of the marketing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And the other thing I want to do is I want to review more product. We will be using our Patreon proceeds most of the time to buy product to... I need to put this down so I stop doing that. We're going to use our Patreon proceeds most of the time to buy product to review, since we do not have many sponsorship or any sponsorship things. So that's what I use, just so everybody knows, when I'm encouraging you to join Patreon, for example, that's what I use that money for, is to buy that stuff, to do those reviews. Because so I stole Doug DeMiro's idea, and we're doing the D score on all of that stuff to make that more, just to make it more comprehensive. And
I think it's a way to show consistency, and once they understand how, maybe when they can plug themselves into relating how you rated something, then they can understand how that could relate to them in a consistent way too.
So let me ask you this. I don't want to bash on anybody's channel. I don't want to turn this into a negative thing, but here's what I want to ask you. In the comments, what things on guitar channels specifically, or on any video, I guess it doesn't even matter, on any YouTube video, what things make you say, this is a dumb video, I'm not going to subscribe to this channel, and I don't ever want to see this guy again? Or it could be a guitar thing too. Or what things do you feel in the content that you're trying to find, when you're Googling around, when you're like searching in YouTube search, the things that you're trying to find, what do you think is missing? Because here's a couple of things that I feel are missing, and I want to try to fill these needs. I feel like product reviews kind of go two different ways. One is they're like a shill for the company, and everything they say about it is good no matter what. And then the other thing that happens a lot of times is they stick very closely to like all the marketing literature, and they...
Super chat.
Gary, I saw that. New item review money. Thanks so much, Gary. I appreciate that. one of the things we're trying to do with the D score, because so many other industries are better at this. This is literally why I completely ripped this off from Doug DeMuro. Because Doug DeMuro has a very good sense of the fact that a minivan is for a particular market and a McLaren F1 is for another market. And each person buys those vehicles for a different reason.
And you can like them both.
And you can like them both. Exactly. In the guitar industry, I feel that there is so much, there's only one way to do it, and because this is what I like, this is what everybody else should like. And I play a Kemper, so people have this impression that because you play a modeling amp, for example, that you will hate tube amps, or that you will play a tube amp so you will hate modeling amps, or you play an Epiphone so automatically you have to justify the fact that you have an Epiphone because it sounds as good as a Gibson. It doesn't. An Epiphone is not as good as a Gibson. It's not. It just isn't. There's nothing wrong with that. What I want to dive deeper into is the product good? First of all, 99%, except for Kolos guitars, of all products are actually good. Most products are actually good for the intended market. There are very few products on the market right now that are just bad, poorly thought out, badly engineered. You know what I mean? The Kolos is a good example of that. That guitar is an amazing idea and could be so cool. It was just poorly executed, and so it's not good. I would not give it to a new player and expect them to have a good result with it. But 99% of products are good. They just are. Even a lot of these Amazon cheapy products are actually pretty good. Now, are they good for a touring musician that has to, like that, like the cheapest wireless that we bought on Amazon, for example. The cheapest wireless for a guitar that we bought on Amazon earlier this year, we did a video on it. Is it good for a touring musician who plays with Justin Timberlake? No, it's not. But is it good for a guy who has an amp in the living room and he's playing there, well, he's sitting there playing, watching TV, and his amp is over there and he's over here and he doesn't want to have a cable going across the floor? Yeah, it's pretty good. And it's only like 29 bucks. So in the motorbike business, when I was in the motorbike business, we would say there's an ass for every seat. It's the same thing with this guitar stuff. Drilling into who is this supposed to be for? Is it for you? It might not be for you. It doesn't mean it sucks. It just means it might not be for you. Let's find who it's good for and tell them about it. And I think there's a lot of review channels that miss that mark. And I'm going to really try to do my part to improve that.
So you were talking about wanting to know, kind of what are those like I'm done moments for people. Doug Cook says that's simple. It's when a channel puts political or social views in them. You're not going to find that here.
Nope.
Daniel Taylor says promoting Patreons and something, I don't know, multiple times a video. Just get in and out with the plug. I get that. Yeah,
like we just did a minute ago, a lot of times I'll just throw the thing up and tell you about it, or I'll mention it at the end. If there's something specific, like, for example, just so you know my thinking on this so it doesn't get irritating to you. For example, last Sunday was the fourth Sunday of the month when we have our guitar workshops on Patreon. So in last week's live video, I may dive into it a little bit, tell you what we're going to talk about, kind of expand on it a little bit for a couple of minutes, not as a plug to, hey, everybody join, but just to know what value you'll be getting out of that.
Right. And if it's for you, because you could just sign up for one class.
Right. Because that's the way we do it. It does not hurt my feelings at all if you say, oh, I want it this month, but I don't want it the rest of the time. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I want you to get value out of it. So our motivation for doing that is a little bit different than I think a lot of people who are like, I want to build I mean, obviously it would be nice. I'll be honest with you. I need all of these things to put together as income streams so that I can make a living. But I'm not going to say I'm trying to push the Patreon to turn into its own income stream so that I can quit, you know, doing something. That's not my motivation for it. And I know a lot of people hate, like we made the join thing, the $5 join thing on YouTube. And I made a video about it because YouTube says, make a video about it once you do it. Okay, I'll do it. And a lot of people got really upset with me about trying to monetize what we do. I get a lot of people who are upset. They do get upset about how many ads.
Can't control that.
Yep, we have. I don't control how many ads are in the videos, but I am grateful for every one of them because I need them. And I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I started this YouTube channel in the very beginning was to promote my products on Dylan Talks Tone, to get people to come to Dylan Talks Tone and buy pickups so that I could make a living and not starve to death. And that is what this was for in the beginning. Obviously, it has grown into all kinds of everything else. But I am very grateful for, and I do need the income streams that come in from the various places, whether it be the ads in the videos, Patreon, or whatever. I couldn't afford to do any of this, include pay my light bill, if I didn't have any of it. So I do need it all. But I appreciate your point about not pushing it. And the only reason I dove into it a little bit more here is because this is what we're talking about. We're trying to, get to that. The political stuff, I will not ever talk about politics or my views or what I think you should do or anything at all. We will not talk about politics. We will not talk about religion. We will not talk about social issues in the way that most people do. I'm interested in a few things. I'm Native American, so you may hear that come out a little bit sometimes that when I'm interested in something. But we're not gonna make a video about it. We're not gonna talk about it. The only time politics has ever kind of inched its way in is when for example, the CITES stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the import laws when they changed.
Import laws for Rosewood, explaining what various governments are doing.
Tariffs. I guess that's what I was thinking of the different
Yep, because we talked about tariffs. Yeah. I will tell you, this is the one political thing I will say of anything. I do not care where your guitar is made. I do not care where the product comes from. I do not care who made it because, and I can't be political about this, because over 50% of our viewers are not in the United States. I see the world as a big place. And so I'm grateful for everybody that works with us. And so the only political thing I'll say is I don't care where your guitar comes from. And for those of you that get in the comments and say America about, Gibson versus Epiphone or whatever, I'm not going to pay attention to it because I don't feel that way. If it's good, it's good. If it's a Kolos, it needs to be better. But if it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Because there are very good craftsmen who live in many countries all over the world. That is as political as I get right there. That's it. Yeah.
So then Doc says, for me, professionalism is key. No sensationalism, no BS. That's what hooked me on this channel. I don't know about the professionalism part, but
yeah,
no sensationalism.
Well, the no sensationalism thing I get. Also, so you're going to see some more sensationalism. I mean, do I want to drop a guitar out of a plane for no reason? Yeah. Or, like out of a helicopter or something. And if I had the funds to do it, I would do it. We would do crazy things like that. We ran over a guitar last week. Okay, so that's a little sensational. Was it necessary? No, but it was fun. I do like doing that stuff. The professionalism thing.
But you're not. So the difference, I think, when I hear sensationalism, there are some ridiculous things on the internet, right? And they
Yeah.
are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your version of sensationalism to me is you are truly curious.
Yeah.
What would happen if?
Yeah.
I wonder
absolutely.
what. It's not for attention. It's like to satisfy your own curiosity, and you're like, hey y'all, let's do this. Let's do this together. Same thing you're talking about learning. Like
Yeah.
that's a learning opportunity. When you cut something open, when you look at these things, like
Yes.
it's not for clickbait or
Mm-mm.
any kind of sensationalism. It is still like, let's fulfill this curiosity. You know, you were the kid that I'm going to take everything apart so I can see if I can put it back together.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're here now. I mean,
And how do you think we learn?
yeah.
How do you even think we learn any of this stuff? We learn it by taking it apart. So in my performer life, I was in the power sports industry, and my job was to literally build a race engine, like do the heads, like just to, for example, in 2007, we had a CRF 450R motocross bike that was making like 85 horsepower. How did we know? Well, because we floated some valves, and we bent some valves, and we broke some cranks, and we burnt some pistons, and we, and you take it all apart, and you look at what's going on, and you solve problems, and you continue. And the next thing you know, 2 world records at Bonneville. But you do that by blowing stuff up and breaking stuff and understanding what the limits are, how it really works. Stepping on the neck of the Kolos guitar was the best way I could see to illustrate how flexible that guitar was, because once I did that, then I could sit there and just bend it with my hand. That was the best way to do it. Was it a little gratuitous? Yes, but it made the point. And even the best filmmakers will tell you, whatever you do on camera, you got to do it like 110% more crazy, because it doesn't come across as crazy once it's on camera. Like, you have to exaggerate just a little bit. The professionalism thing, I think, is really important. I do not bag on anybody, really. I don't say terrible things about companies. I don't, even, like, for example, Kolos. If they came out with an Kolos version 2 next month and it was perfect, I would praise it and make more videos about it and probably buy one. I don't ever attack people. Now, in the comments, every once in a while, I will have to say something to somebody that they don't like hearing because they need to hear it. But I don't ever get ugly with people. I don't like to do that. So the professionalism thing's super important. Yeah, I mean, I have a business to run, and I'm a nice person, So yeah, R&D equals trial and error. Yep, or plus trial and error. Absolutely.
I think just to finish the conversation, Sassy Cat. Well, first of all, they shared the channels that they really like.
Oh, what are they?
Besides Dylan Talks Tone and Music and Mascara, they watch Trogley,
Heck
60
yeah.
Cycle Hum, Rick Beato,
Mm-hmm.
5 Watt World, Rhett Shull, Texas Toast, Scar My Guitar, SMG, and HP42. And so that's a lot of channels, and it sounds like they're probably a really loyal viewer to many channels. And then before that, they asked, if someone with a YouTube Premium account watches one of your videos, do you get a cut of that money?
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that. If you join YouTube Premium,
You won't get ads.
you won't get ads, and I get more of your money. So here's how that works. So let's say you subscribe to all of those channels, okay? And you are a YouTube Premium viewer, and you subscribe to those channels, we get to split that. So 60 Cycle Hum, me, and Matt, and 5 Watt World, and Trogley, and all those people, we get to split that revenue. That's how that works. And what's interesting about that is, what is it now? Is it $10 or $15 a month? I don't really know. I can't remember. But it actually ends up being more back.
Everybody's like, YouTube pros, you can't talk about YouTube. Don't tell YouTube secrets. This is coincidentally happening.
Okay.
Are we back? I'm not sure yet.
We are.
Woo!
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, that's what happens when you talk about YouTube. Oh, we got busted. No,
yeah.
Really, it wasn't that.
So the app that I use filled up the hard drive on my iPad and made us freeze. So finally I can go pee.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. No, this has been super fun. I'm super stoked about 2021. I guess the other thing I want to ask is what amazing stuff. I know everybody wants to bag on 2020 because it's been a tough year for a lot of people. Is there anything that Yes, so go to YouTube Premium and only subscribe to me. That is exactly what you should do. Is there anything that you got to do or that you accomplished positive stuff in 2020?
Yeah, for example, like I know a lot of people who have like learned a new skill or taken some classes, maybe virtually connected with family they don't normally connect with, because most people think of like in person, like you have to wait for a family reunion, but that's kind of changed the scene a little bit. Just trying to put some ideas out there. Oh yeah, somebody did ask about your drink earlier.
I can't remember what it is. I bought a bottle of bourbon for my brother-in-law because today, New Year's Eve, is my brother-in-law's wedding anniversary. So I gave him a bottle, and then he gave me a little bit of it to try because I'd never tried it. And now I can't... Is it Stranahan's?
I don't know.
It might be Stranahan's. I can't remember what it was, so I tried,
So Daniel Taylor just said
somebody
it's another
completed their master's degree.
month. I don't know where you saw that. He said it's another month before he becomes a master luthier. And I overheard you watching Texas Toast talk about what is that. So
yeah, could you tell us
that
what
is
that means?
interesting, Daniel. Like, yeah, what does it mean to be a master luthier? Is that a class? Is it a certification? Like, what does that mean? And I think you were probably the person earlier that said it drives you crazy when people talk as if they were a luthier, and now seeing that statement makes sense why you would feel that way if that is, some kind of craft you're perfecting. But listening to Texas Toast talk about it the other day, I was like, oh, I don't really know what that means either. Obviously, it's not an interest of mine, but I am curious about anybody else's interests, really, and what they're passionate about.
Who else did stuff?
Who else did stuff?
Yeah, this is cool. I love hearing this, man.
Let's see.
I also learned that there's people doing like 3 and 4 hour live streams just sitting and hanging out with their friends. And I'm like, I'm trying to get done in 30 or 40 minutes because I don't want to waste anybody's time. But at the same time, on a night like tonight, when you're just everybody, we're all just trying to stay up till midnight anyways. Or maybe not. I'm not. But we're just hanging out, and I am.
So
yeah, this is
Homer's awesome. Reluctant Odyssey said, I started investing and getting serious about it. That's awesome. If you have any tips, you should tell us.
Yes.
I would love to learn more.
We started incrementally, like in an organized fashion, saving this year. Because we were, everybody's a little worried, right? Like, what if you're going to need it next month? Because who knows what's happening. And so we started... we came up with a plan as a family, just a little bit at a time, and I'm surprised, and it's pretty awesome. We did kind of, I don't want to say invested, but yeah, that was awesome. I'm glad I was able to do it.
Just Drive Sheboygan Falls said built a half dozen guitars, sold a few, got a 5E3. I don't know what that is.
5E3, so that would be like a deluxe, like a Fender Deluxe
okay.
kind of circuit.
Aaron Short Music said it gave him time to work on his YouTube channel. And then he said lots of time.
Make sure you go check out Aaron Short YouTube, Aaron Short Music. Aaron Short Music, he's in New York, and I was actually going to try to give him a guitar this week to review, just to help him out, but it didn't work out because of shipping. But I'm going to try to do something to help him out because his channel's pretty good, and he makes some pretty neat stuff. And he had he's got some content that I don't have. So make sure you definitely go check out Aaron Short Music. And he only has like 6,000 subscribers or something. So make sure you go over there and click that button.
Only. That's amazing.
I think it's great.
Saying. I do see, I apologize, Charles. Charles Wallace said, I completed my master's degree. So that is really cool. You have to tell us what you have your master's in. And is it related to anything that you do? Because that seems to be a rare occurrence. More equipment than ever, 2020. Phil says 2020 was cool. I learned a lot about guitars. Sean Adams said I learned, I just lost my place. I learned finger picking or something. Finger style playing while deployed, and I paid off all my debt. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
He said hello earlier from the Middle East, so obviously now we know he is deployed.
Very cool.
Doug Cook says 2 years ahead in my plans for guitar building, was able to get most of the equipment. This is all really cool. Doc said I got to spend more time with my wife and kids. I learned to really mix drinks. Lots of drinks around the bonfire. I've never had 12 weeks off before. That is really cool.
I learned how to strip wire without my teeth.
Oh my goodness, yes. Thanks to Doc.
Thanks to Doc.
Robert McDowell says, I've been buying non-working guitars and fixed them and then donated to a couple of schools in the local area. I should say as long as body and necks were okay. That's really cool.
That is the coolest thing. That to me, that's awesome. Those are.
Ivan says, we're not finished.
No,
people are doing some amazing things. Ivan says, I started guitar lessons again after 30 years. That is so cool. Doug said he even got his own, quote, beloved pin router, just like the one Matt has.
Nice.
Driddle says, I worked 40 hours a week as usual. I used my free time to watch videos and convince myself I could build a guitar. I hear that you did that, Driddle, so that's awesome.
I built a pickup for that guitar.
I'm just doing my thing, trying to get by. That's what Sassy Cat said. I'm a subscriber.
So
Dominic said he built a pickup winder and wound a few single coils thanks to Dylan.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
Just FYI, I never get offended by that. So, like, I'm not, we make pickups, you can make some pickups, and everybody will be happy. Just FYI. I think people wonder that sometimes. I don't care. I think it's awesome. And this is the kind of stuff that makes my day. That you watch the videos, you take the stuff, and you go and you're able to help somebody, you're able to do some stuff. I think that is really, really, really cool, and you're able to put it to use. That makes me super happy. So the other question I have is, what was your best gear of the year? Did you get anything new that you really loved that really changed your guitar playing, inspired you to play? And what was your worst? Like, I returned it before I even blah blah blah. Obviously my worst is the Kolos acoustic. My best obviously was my McPherson, but the other thing I'll definitely say is the Positive Grid Spark and the Boss Next Tone. Boss Next Tone being first. That thing, everybody needs one of those. That amp is so good. That is so good. And I just bought a Helix HX Stomp too to replace my Kemper, which I really like because it's kind of tiny. I really like that too. But that, man, that Boss Next Tone, if I could have kept that, I probably would have kept that. It just was too big for my space needs. And I couldn't play it loud enough in a motorhome to be practical, you know. Yeah.
So a lot of people said they're just working from home, didn't have extra time. But he built up a vintage pedal collection.
That's cool.
Homer's Reluctant Odyssey. I mean, this is just a really good perspective for an otherwise sad thing. My girlfriend has really been struggling with cancer, so the extra time at home together has been really nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can't get time like that, so that's awesome. Alan Walker put together a couple more parts casters. Phil said, I cook some mean-ass bread and pizza. I mean, we've all had to learn how to cook a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
No, that is... Oh, Doc said he's in the same situation. No, you can't get back time.
Nope.
So that is a really good, positive way to look at that, is to take advantage of.
Gary bought 2 guitars.
Oh.
He bought one from Jesse and he bought one from Texas Toast. That's pretty cool.
So Daniel Taylor came back. We asked about the luthier thing.
Yeah.
He said it's a guild of American luthiers and you work with a lot of different luthiers. I'm currently in Nashville and studying with Jim DeCola, master luthier at Gibson. Lots goes into not enough text. No, that's cool, Daniel. I appreciate you sharing a little bit insight into what that looks like.
Phil said he got a sexy ass strap.
Ooh.
FYI, I have one left before we do another run of them right here. So if you want this, Dylan Talks Tone, it is there and ready to ship. I can ship this tomorrow, Saturday, for you if you want it. The Dylan Talks Tone leather strap. These are made by a custom interior guy in Nashville, Tennessee for me. He does interiors for like, well, everybody. Billy Gibbons, stinking Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Dave Mustaine, like all of the rock stars that have hot rods. I mean, we're talking like $40,000 interiors. This is some kind of super fancy, really, really nice leather. And he hand sews these for me. So I have one, and I could probably do batches of like 4 or 5, but I'd kind of have to pre-sell them because they're not cheap to make. So, but if you want one, let me know. I've got one ready to go, and we could probably do another batch here coming up pretty soon. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh yeah, Ivan got the other one too. Ivan got one of these too. So, awesome. You guys, this is great. Everybody's getting new guitars. There's a bunch of people with some new stuff in there. I love this. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This one went way longer than the normal one did. Yeah, it's 6:20.
Whoops.
But I just felt like it needed to happen. I felt like we just needed to have a hangout session, like a outside the normal, the normal format.
And just some positivity and
understanding and get to know each other,
where we're headed, and yeah, we learned a lot about a few of you. It was super cool. I like that. And
thanks to everybody for the super chats too. I do appreciate those as well. Jason, I've got one left right here until the next batch. If you want it, let me know.
Isn't it on the website?
It is on the website. Yeah, just go to Dylan Talks Tone. In the merch section, it's there. And then the new shirt is there. What are all the things I could plug right now? I don't know, but don't plug it too many times. Right. Buy our pickups. Watch our videos. For anybody who doesn't know, like, there are many channels, businesses, especially related to quote unquote a hobby for most people. Most people aren't professional musicians. They're just, they play on the side but this is life for us. This is not a side gig. This is the gig. So we do appreciate all of you and all of the support. And
That is probably why you see creators do shameless plugs, because it's not shameless. They're literally trying to make a living. Most people.
Yeah, and we're in a little bit different position too. I'm not a big YouTuber like who can go buy a Lamborghini. I'm just like a normal guy who has a YouTube channel, which I don't think a lot of people realize either. That it feeds my business, that feeds us. So it's a little different than your normal YouTuber who has bajillions of.
And we haven't gone viral yet, so we don't have any of that going for us. We're not
just
sensational enough for that.
Nope, we're just normal people. Or
interesting, or we don't fight enough. We haven't figured it out.
We get along too good, probably. Yeah, there's not enough sparks in our videos.
Yeah.
We're not Orange County Chopper enough, probably, to throw chairs at each other and have sparks flying and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, we would probably have bajillions of followers. I think about that, like.
But it wouldn't be these followers. It's the interesting thing. These people are here because of a reason, and that they connect with us. If I threw a chair at your head right now, they
wouldn't connect.
I don't even have a loose chair to throw. All of our furniture is
connected. It's all bolted down. It has to
anyway.
Oh, that's awesome.
The same people wouldn't even be here, so it's not even worth. We like the community and the positivity, so.
Yep. No.
Anyway.
Thanks a lot, y'all. This has been super fun. I appreciate it, and we will see you on Tuesday, with
next
year with a part 2, how to shield a guitar. I got some pick guards. I got some copper foil tape. We're gonna do some stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. We're going to talk about satellite dishes. Yeah. And until next year, I hope you have a good couple more hours.
Well, some people, I mean...
maybe some people it's already next year.
Yeah,
if they're in the Middle East.
It's 2 a.m. there. He was like, New Year's looking okay so far. Good to know.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Very good. Thanks for hanging out. We really do appreciate everybody. This has been super fun. We probably should do one or these a month or something that's more like this, where we just get to hang out.